Oh, yes, good. It says you are live.
Hello.
Hi there. Waiting for confirmation from Dad.
All right, guys. Today you are cooking dinner with me, and I forgot the vegetables in the freezer.
Which freezer? Yes, we are live.
We'll get them in just a minute, Dave. All right. Today we are making garlic chicken. The stir fry, if you would, please. Garlic chicken and banana muffins. Dining on a Dime Volume 2. It is on page 237 right there. Dining on a Dime Volume 2, 25% off right now, livingonadime.com. Now, I am making two versions of this. I am making gluten-free and regular because I would like to eat some of this and I am gluten-free. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your pan, and I ran out of space. So, thank you, Dave. I ran out of space, so I'm going to have to cook over here on the oven. Yeah, thank you. Just over here. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, isn't it? Okay, so you're going to put your olive oil in your pan. And you're going to take your garlic. Now, I just used the minced garlic. And Mike likes a lot of garlic, so we're adding extra. Mike is a garlic kind of a guy.
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to saute our garlic in our olive oil just for a few minutes, okay? Now, for the breadcrumbs, guys, stop wasting your valuable hard-earned money on breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are like 10 cents to make at home. Seriously.
You literally just get bread and shred.
Exactly. That container of breadcrumbs, you know, a container this size of breadcrumbs is what, $3.50, $4?
Wow.
You can make it at home for like 50 cents for this amount. So
is that breadcrumbs right there?
No, that's raisins.
But you're gonna
I don't buy breadcrumbs because I'm frugal. Okay, so to make homemade breadcrumbs, just take dry bread or throw your bread in the toaster and toast it up. And then you're just gonna smash it.
That's literally how they make it.
This is literally how they make it. Okay, come down, Dave, and let me show everybody how I'm smashing it.
All right.
Get all the air out of your bag. Right here, all the air's out of the bag. All right, and then we're just going to smash. Would you like to smash? Go ahead, smash. Whoa, oh my goodness gracious. There you go.
You can also get your
very good.
Where is it? If you have a vegetable cutter, can you do the vegetable cutter on that?
Yes, you probably could do the vegetable cutter on this too. Okay, so we're just smashing it all up here. Try not to have any huge hunks, and if you have any huge hunks, just pick them out, but most of them should smash up. Okay, turning down my garlic here. Okay. And there you have breadcrumbs. Now, to make Italian breadcrumbs, so we're going to throw those in here. Now, to make the Italian breadcrumbs, you're going to take your Italian seasoning. Whoops, where'd it go? Here it is. Okay, you're going to take your Italian seasoning and just put it in there. Guys, this is like 5 cents. So don't waste your hard-earned money on breadcrumbs when you can just make it at home. Okay, so now we're going to do the gluten-free ones. Now, these are just gluten-free crackers. You can use gluten-free bread. I just didn't have any on hand. I'm just going to smash those up too. Okay, just like so. And then we're going to add our Italian seasoning in here.
Would that work with whole wheat bread?
Yes, whole wheat bread would work. Sourdough bread would work. Pretty much any bread you want.
Any bread that's crumbly?
Yeah. Now, the recipe doesn't call for this, but I pretty much add seasoned salt to everything I make because, like dinners, because it's just delicious. So I'm adding a little bit of my seasoned salt. This is another thing you should not be buying is seasoned salt, guys. You can make it for like 10 cents. Go to livingonadime.com or our volume 1 Dining on a Dime cookbook, and it will be in there. Okay. All right. Now our garlic is all done. Okay. So we're putting that in there.
You might have already answered this, but Elizabeth asked, does it matter what bread you use for breadcrumbs?
Nope.
No.
You can use any bread you want. You could use, well, I don't know about rye bread. I don't know that rye bread would taste very good, but I mean, you could use sourdough. You could use wheat. You could use white. You can use gluten-free. All of those work.
Joanne's asking, is it better to use stale or toasted bread?
Doesn't matter. Whatever is easiest for you.
What other questions relating to what you're just saying?
Sure.
Stacy is asking, what is in seasoned salt?
Seasoned salt. Livingonadime.com, type in homemade seasonings and the recipe is there. But what it basically is salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika. Super easy. Okay, now the recipe calls for these halved, and you can, but I'm going to make these into tenders. Oh yeah, preheat your oven. I'm going to make these into tenders because they will just cook a little bit faster. So you can make them however you want. It doesn't really matter, okay? Get them all cut up. Here, these are just boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Okay, just like so. I wonder if Ellie's going to want some of this.
Yeah, I bet she will. If there's
Maybe
any left.
do one more. Okay, I'm going to do one more. My cooking nowadays goes between 4 and 8, between 4 and 6, depending on who's home and who's not, and who's going out to eat.
Denise says, our Eric and Ashley here love them. Just so you guys know, you're loved.
Eric and Ashley out of
Out of
Goshen.
Goshen.
Hi, guys.
They're on the YouTube side right now.
Mm-hmm. Ashley just had a baby, and it's so cute. Maybe we should have a baby here.
No.
What do you think?
Well, I don't care.
I'm laughing nervously.
They're laughing nervously.
I don't care, but don't talk about them.
Oh, my children. Okay, so we have our chicken tenders. So then, oh yeah, I forgot the Parmesan cheese. Now, I'm dairy-free, so I probably won't do Parmesan cheese for mine. But then you're going to pour in your Parmesan cheese. And you're going to then coat this in the olive oil and garlic mixture, and then you're going to coat it in the cheese and breadcrumb mixture, okay? Just like so. Oh, yummy-licious. Oh, I need a pan. Oops. Okay. Here we go. Now, let's see.
Mike is loving the smell already.
Does it smell good?
I smell the garlic.
Okay, I'm going to do my I always do my gluten-free ones first because then it doesn't contaminate. But I am going to cook them all in the same pan because I'm not celiac. So I'm not going to die if I have some gluten. I just am going to get sick to my stomach. So if you're celiac, of course, don't put them in the same pan. Oh, look what I just did. Did you see what I just did there? Brother, Tara.
You just said you weren't going to do that.
I know. See, that's what happens when I talk and cook at the same time. Okay. That's all right. Are you wanting gluten-free or are you done with that?
I probably will eat the gluten-free.
Okay.
I digressed slightly from it.
I did it again. Oh my goodness. Ah.
What?
Okay. Okay. So I'm making enough for Mike and I. We're both gluten-free this week.
You're not making any for the kids?
I'm making some for you guys. Don't panic.
Where's my Parmesan? Not sure if Mike has to be, but
Well,
we're doing a test.
He's testing to see if oh, good grief, Tara. Okay. Let me just make a couple of these before Mike's just testing, going off of gluten to see if he feels better.
It's all a conspiracy.
Gluten's all a conspiracy,
Mm-hmm.
you think?
I'm sure.
You're sure? All right. And so just keep dipping all of these in. Now let me do my last two for us. All right, let's see. What's the matter?
Did you use that Parmesan? Is that like the can? Oh no, it's a jar.
It's a jar of Parmesan.
Yeah, for those people that don't like the powdered or the Parmesan in the jar, you can grate your own if you feel up to doing that.
If you don't want to spend that much money, go for it. It's pretty expensive, but if you want to, go ahead.
Karen wants to know, do you remove the crust off the bread before you make them into crumbs? You don't,
No.
do you?
Uh-uh.
Because the crust is just the
Do
bread.
it all up. Okay, so I kind of ran out of room in my pan here, and I ran out of garlic stuff, so I'm just going to do this one last one. Okay, then I'll just save these, and we'll cook those tomorrow. All right, let me get this out of the way. Okay, and for all of you germaphobes, I washed my hands. Do not worry. Okay, so now we're going to stick this in the oven, and it's supposed to go in the oven at 425. But I am baking some banana muffins to go with it for dinner, and those need to cook at 350. So I'm going to cook it at 350, and then as soon as my muffins are done, I will turn the heat up and finish cooking them at 425. But before I get to the muffins, look at my cute new butter dish I got.
Where did you get that?
Isn't that cute?
I just heard about it when you heard about it.
Saturday, I went to the thrift store to shoot several videos, which one's coming up Friday. And I found this little dish. Is that not the cutest thing ever? Okay.
Oh,
Now, the next recipe I am making is Dining on a Dime Cookbook, page 110, or gluten-free version is in our gluten-free, dairy-free. Now, it is just our banana bread 14 variations. Now, if you have volume 1, this banana bread is the same recipe. What happened was, since I wrote volume 1 20 years ago, all these different variations of banana bread have come up. There's like 30 or something here. I don't know. There's a lot. No, 14. 14 variations. 14 variations. 30 is the cake mix cookie. Sorry. I can't read. I know my own book. So I wanted to add all these different variations, and we didn't have room in the original cookbook. So there's only 2 recipes that are repeated in volume 2, and that's only because I wanted to add variations, and we had already perfected the recipe. So since we couldn't get a more perfect recipe, I just used the same one. And I did test several other recipes just to see if I could make it better, and I couldn't. So, yes.
Oh, I'm also sharing the recipe. I'm also sharing the recipe in the comments, and it's in the description. And she's going to be making it as muffins, so you'll have to scroll down to where it says variations if you're going to do muffins.
Yes. So I'm making this as muffins instead of bread because they cook quicker. Okay. All right. So what do I have in here? I have my gluten-free. I'm making them gluten-free because I want to eat some. I have my gluten-free flour and my sugar and my salt and my baking soda and baking powder. Baking powder and baking soda are 2 different things. I have that's my baking soda there. I just store my baking soda in a little mason jar because I have a huge box of it. And then we have what? Okay. Yeah. So what I do is I put all my dry ingredients first and just stir them around. Okay. Just stir all. How did I cut my finger? Just stir all the dry ingredients. Okay. That way the baking soda, the baking powder, and the salt all get evenly distributed. Okay, my 1 egg. My 2 eggs. And then bananas. Now, you want really super ripe bananas, okay? Now, I store my bananas in the freezer if I don't feel like making banana bread. I'm making it today, but normally I store them in the freezer. And here's a little tip. Defrost them on the counter when you do in the freezer. And then when they're all mushy, they will just squeeze out the end like this. And then you have mushed bananas, just like so. Okay, mine weren't frozen. They're soft, but I'm just showing you. The frozen ones will just squeeze right out the end. And then they are already mashed. Okay, so that is the easy way to do it, I think, with the frozen ones. Let me wipe off my hands. Okay, and then we are adding our shortening, which is right here. Now, normally I like to use butter flavored shortening, but they were out at the grocery store, so I don't have any on hand right now. And what I do, because it just adds to the butter flavor when I'm baking gluten-free, is I add butter flavoring, I guess is what it's called. Yeah, butter flavoring, I guess. And I just put about a teaspoon of butter flavoring in there.
Yum.
And then you're supposed to use sour milk. I'm dairy-free, so what I'm doing is using flax milk, right here, flax milk, and some vinegar, okay? The vinegar, the acid in the vinegar helps the baking soda activate and your banana bread will rise, okay? All right, Dave, ready for sound? Ready. when you are doing gluten-free baking, you want to thoroughly mix. You want to always make sure that you really, really mix your who loves raw cake batter, raw cookie dough batter? Oh my goodness. So delicious.
David's making teenager noises back there.
So delicious. Okay. So now, do you boys want chocolate chip banana muffins or do you want plain?
I want plain.
That's what I thought.
Chocolate
Okay,
chip
fine with
don't
either.
go with bananas.
Oh, I forgot my vanilla. Oops.
What do you mean? They go perfectly with bananas.
Okay, got my homemade vanilla here. Okay. Gonna put in my vanilla.
Not at all sweet for nothing, but
Okay, stir in my vanilla. All right. There we go. Now, we're going to spritz our mini muffin tins with cooking oil, and I want chocolate chips and raisins in mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake the kids' first, since they like plain banana muffins. And then I will add the raisins and chocolate chips for me. Oh, yum. I have been dying to make these for like months, and I just haven't gotten around to it. I see you making gagging faces about my raisins.
No.
Ooh, did you put raisins in there?
No, not yet.
Oh.
I'm making the kids' first
I see.
Yay!
because they're gagging at the thought of raisins in their muffins.
Raisins are nasty.
Somebody likes the raisins because when I get 2 of those containers of them, I only eat a handful and then they're all gone. Must be Ellie.
I eat some.
Denise Buster is here. He's just being extra quiet.
Well, we put rugs all over the floor because, quite frankly, his pacing is driving us nuts. And we got really worn out listening to clicking all the time, every night for hours on end. So now we have moving blankets all over our kitchen floor, and it has helped greatly, actually. Okay.
Jay Ramsey asked, does your homemade vanilla have a stronger taste than store-bought?
I don't know. I frankly can't tell any difference between the homemade and the imitation at the store. I think people who say all that are just being persnickety, but I can't tell any difference. I'll be honest. The only reason why I have it, for those of you just joining my homemade vanilla, is because I was doing a video making homemade vanilla. So, yeah, I don't know that I noticed the difference. Okay, so here they are. They're going in the oven
Yay!
right now.
Should I keep it down so then you can?
Smell the garlic.
It smells
Smell
delicious.
the garlic. Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to bake that for about 15 to 20 minutes. Probably closer to 20 minutes.
You want it still down,
Put the
right?
camera up.
Go ahead and do the camera up. Okay, and then I will cook the vegetables. We will take questions.
Okay, I was unsure if you were cooking a second.
So guys, I mean, that took me what, 20 minutes to make dinner and muffins from scratch. You can go through the drive-through and it will take you 45 minutes to an hour just to get through the drive-through, or at least here it does. I don't know. Maybe in other places you don't. But here, we'll drive by Taco Bell. Have mercy. There's 40 cars in line. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they are just wrapped all the way around through the parking lot. It's crazy.
Is it vodka cinnamon? I think it's just
No.
plain old vodka.
It's just plain vodka with vanilla beans in it. See?
So I was going to ask on this. So you can use this for all baking, but if you do ice cream, you'd want to use the artificial stuff, right?
No, you can use
I
that.
thought that it would melt
Well,
or prevent it from freezing.
No, what happened? So, no. Oh, that is so good. I've been craving banana bread for like months and I just haven't made it. No, what happens with vanilla? Okay, so what Mike's talking about is one time we made homemade vanilla ice cream with the neighbors and it didn't set up. And I got the brilliant idea to put like 3 or 4 times the amount of vanilla that you're supposed to in there. Because I thought, well, that'll just be extra flavoring.
You wonderful vanilla.
It was extra flavored, but it didn't set up. So if you're making vanilla ice cream, Dave, can you open the back door? You need to make sure you use the proper amount or your ice cream will not set up because the alcohol keeps it from freezing.
Okay. So let's see. We had some questions. Other questions. Michelle saw you mixing it, but she was wondering how long about do you mix it? Just till it's smooth?
Just until it's smooth. 2-3 minutes. Maybe not even that long. But I just make sure it's really, especially the gluten-free. The regular, it doesn't have to be mixed as well. But with the gluten-free, you really want to make sure you are mixing it well. And that recipe is in Dining on a Dime gluten-free, dairy-free edition for those of you guys wondering. And yes, I have my 5-ingredient recipe channel up and going now, and it's doing great. Thank you, guys. My video on biscuits last week already has 29,000 views.
Woo! Yes.
Which is great
awesome.
for a brand new channel. I was super excited. So,
should I share a link to that?
Yeah, put a link. I just yesterday put on how to hard-boiled eggs perfectly on the stovetop, and then tomorrow is going to be how to hard-boiled eggs in the Instant Pot. But here's the thing. Would you guys share, please? Share those videos because I'm trying to get my new channel out. But I am still working on the gluten-free, dairy-free, the gluten-free mostly, channel. I think there's a need for that. And so I've been shooting the videos and I just have to get them edited.
You have already. Wow.
I have.
So the channel is 5-ingredient recipes. I shared the link in the comments, and it's also in the description. But if you can't find it, you can go to our website, livingonadime.com, and under videos in the menu, you can click show notes, and it'll pretty much live there forever. So the link to that.
I took care of the disturbing microwave for everyone.
Actually,
it's a new camera, guys, that causes the microwave to look that way.
This is a new camera.
Actually, it is
Or the new system,
It's something about
something.
the camera. It's something about the camera and the microwave.
Yeah.
It's
but
been
we don't
like
know.
that.
Oh,
for a
maybe it's the
while.
new
Yeah,
microwave
it's the
then.
new
Okay, the new microwave. Sorry.
Like 2 months.
It's funny because it's not actually flickering here, but the camera shutter moves a certain speed, and apparently that flickers at a certain speed. And when they don't flicker together, it looks like that. So, all right, got some subscribers. Listen, Linda said, "What? Subscribed? I love simple cooking." Yeah, actually, I think we talked about it before, but we kind of Tara had the idea, and we kind of set up that other channel
Dave.
to do short recipes because then Google will recognize their short recipes, and that channel will probably thrive more. So
Yeah, we're trying to get focused and break up our channels a little bit. All right, guys, I made soap today. Goatmilkgifts.com. Right here. This one is Jasmine. It is not listed yet. Ellie didn't know I was making it. So it's not listed yet. She'll get it up tomorrow. And for those of you having problems ordering on goatmilkgifts.com, for the soap, you have to go through and pick the size of soap you want. And she has different sizes available. So like the acne soap, I think it was 4 ounces or 4.5 ounces is the only size she has. So that's where the ordering problem was for those people who are wanting that soap and couldn't order. You just have to pick what size bar, and it'll say available or unavailable for the bars.
So Beth said, I found a carrot cookie recipe in your cookbook. Do you have a carrot cake recipe in your cookbook?
In Dining Volume 2.
I thought that was the
Yeah,
case.
we put it in Volume 2. Well, here's what happened. So when I wrote Dining on a Dime Volume 1, it was supposed to be ultra cheap recipes. And so I didn't consider cream cheese ultra cheap. So I did not put expensive recipes that called for cream cheese and that kind of thing. Volume 2, I added all those really yummy recipes like carrot cake because, you know, everybody's definition of cheap, I found out, is not the same as mine. So.
Oh, so Rocio says, thank you so much for the book.
I was just going to do a shout
At
out.
the same place BJ works.
Okay, guys. So I have to tell you the funniest thing. So my son was at his new job last week. He's now an RV salesman. And he had 3 of his coworkers come up to him in the last week. Austin, hello, Austin's family. Rocio, hello. And Jenny, hello. And all 3 of them recognized him and said, are you BJ, or does your mom have a cooking show? And he's like, yeah. So it was funny. So BJ had 3 people that watch our show, and they watched for years. So thank you, guys. We really appreciate you watching us for so long.
Yes.
So that was just too funny.
That was hilarious.
He, oh, wow. Oh my goodness. That
smells
is gorgeous. Did it smell good? Look, am I too
Oh,
close?
see, that
You're
could be
not supposed to
the
stay
bar that
close.
was sniffed by Mike. I'm sure you could get extra for that.
You think you can?
The bar that
Oh
was
my goodness. This turned out perfect. This turned out way better than I thought it would. I am so excited. Ooh, I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. Oh, I'm about to lose my soap, and I think
Barbara wants to know, do you make a grapefruit or tangerine scented soap? Have you done that before?
I have done it before, but I don't have one right now. I do have orange, and I do have peach. We have peach right now. That smells really good. Love the peach. I don't. Actually, I might have a tangerine down there. I think I might have a tangerine fragrance down there. I'll go look, and if I do, I can make you one up. I don't have an orange one in stock right now.
And someone else. Oh, Kimberly said, I love that soap that you get at hotels that has the oatmeal in it. It feels good when you scrub it against your skin, and then your skin is super soft. Do you have a similar soap?
Yes. Ellie has one. If it's not sold out, it's is it oatmeal and honey, or is it just oatmeal? I can't remember for sure. But yeah, go look. Just click on the variations. Oh my, I am so excited. This turned out so pretty. Wow. Oh my goodness,
Oh.
guys. Give me a thumbs up if you're loving it.
Beth says, love the hyacinth soap. Opened it today and love the smell.
Yay.
And somewhere in there she said, open the box and it smelled so good.
Doesn't it smell good? Ugh. The
See,
hyacinth, I really like. And then I made a violet one. I don't know if it's set up yet. We'll see if it's set up. I made a violet one today, and that smelled really good too. This one's jasmine that I'm cutting right now.
Wow, more stuff. Will you be making shampoo bars in the future?
Yes, I am. Okay. I'll see if I can get it done tomorrow. I was going to really work on my gluten-free channel tomorrow, but I'll try and get it done tomorrow. Well, no, it's going to have to be Friday because I don't have one of the ingredients. So I'll do it Friday, and then I'll cut it on Wednesday. But Ellie will get it in the store, and we'll get it done for you, okay?
Jonathan is on.
Jonathan, how's school going? Is he graduated yet?
He's not graduated yet. He says, I almost died this past quarter, but made it. Coming up for air for a few more days.
Oh, you can do it, Jonathan. You're almost there.
So earlier we had some other questions. Luann asked, how do you make mashed potatoes without dairy? Because her husband has to go dairy.
Chicken broth. Just put chicken broth in there. That is the only way I make them now. As a matter of fact, I made them last night. Well, no, not last night. Night before last. And this one's Jasmine, and Ellie will get it in the shop tomorrow, guys.
He says 6 more months. He hopes.
Oh, he's still at 6 months?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Dude.
Gina
Wow,
is
we're
asking,
graduating
are they
the
the
same
same
year.
size as a regular bar of soap? I'm wondering if she means the...
These should be 4.5 or 5 ounces.
And I get all the duds, so when there's some that are not quite perfect, she just puts them in a basket in the bathroom. We get to choose.
Yep.
Talk about being spoiled. All right. So also, Michelle, I've never seen a silicone thing with rectangles. And Kimberly said, I need that cupcake holder. The one.
Okay, go to Amazon and get the link.
Do we have that in our?
I don't think we have it in our store. Can you have me the other loaf, Dave?
Hold on a second.
Yes, I was just looking up to see if I had the stuff for shampoo bars today. It's funny you said that. I love it, personally. Okay, this one is the violet, and I think it's done. Okay. I made 2 batches today, and
Jasmine, the one that smells like sunscreen.
yeah,
Okay,
it's the
gotcha.
jasmine that smells like the sunscreen. Oh, okay. Let's see if I can get it. Here. Uh-oh. Oh, dear. You're having a dink with Amazon now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it was totally funny. My son came home 3 different days this week and said, you're not going to believe what happened. He's loving his new job as an RV salesman. He's already sold a couple of RVs, and he is loving it.
What are they called?
Right. Just type in rectangle muffin loaf, maybe.
It was the silicone ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Silicone mold. Aha.
Let's see. Keep going. Well, no, it's not that one. That one would work. There
That's
it is.
the one. Gotcha.
Okay. Mike's got the mold, guys. All right. Now this one is violet. Oh, this one turned out so pretty too. Oh my goodness. This one is violet. I did a few spring ones, guys. Oh, yum.
That's what it's like.
This one smells really good.
Oh,
Doesn't that
Can I
smell
eat
good? Can you eat it? It's
Oh.
a flower.
but you know
Oh,
what I smell?
it
that
smells like
better?
banana bread.
It doesn't. Tingling. This is the violet. I am loving it. Wow, that one turned out really pretty.
Oops, where is that?
It's not done yet.
Oh, it smells good.
It smells done.
What is this?
Smells
Are you
good.
guys starving?
People are getting annoyed by the.
People were
flashing.
getting annoyed by the flashing.
Oh,
So BJ is loving his new job. It's so much less stressful than doing sales for cell phones. My goodness, what is wrong with people? It has like they have been possessed by Satan.
Don't share that story.
Which story?
Okay, I thought you were going to share one of the customer issues.
Oh no,
So not-
no, I'm not going to share that.
Oh no, not that one. No,
There's-
that's disgusting.
I'm sharing the link for the muffin. Whoops, I tried to share the link for the muffin mold, but so far it didn't work. So I will go paste it in separate. Oh wait, it did work. Okay. There
Oh,
you
guys. Okay, this violet turned out so pretty. All right, let me check. Let's see. Okay, my muffins aren't done yet.
Kathy said, "I'm so happy that I read helpful hints in your cookbook on putting some mayonnaise and scrambled eggs to keep them from drying out."
It's a good tip, isn't it? Yes. So for those of you wondering, just put a little bit of mayonnaise, like a tablespoon or 2, in with your scrambled eggs, and they don't dry out. The other thing is also to cook them quickly, and they don't dry out.
Nice. And Jeanette said it's her birthday today.
Is it Anjanette Clayton?
Yes.
Okay, she's so faithful. We have to do it. Okay, here you go. You ready? Oh, let's hope I don't set my fingernails on fire. Oh dear.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Anjanette. Happy birthday to you. Woo! It's been a long time since we did the birthday song. Happy birthday, Anjanette.
Thank you. She's always so encouraging, and she was driving through Wyoming, and we weren't able to see her. She was only like an hour away, but she had to keep going. I don't remember where she lives. I know it's back east somewhere, but I can't remember.
Holly and a couple of other people asked, what did you end up doing with the stove since the silicone mishap?
So I talked about this last week, but I'll tell you again. I saved it, and oh my goodness, that is good soap. I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay, what did I do? I cleaned it all out with the vacuum first. So I got our old cruddy vacuum, so if it killed the vacuum, it wouldn't be a problem. So I cleaned it out with the old vacuum first. Then I took a dustpan and a broom, and I did all the little pieces that I could. Then I took just soap and water and just washed it down 3 times, and it's working fine. It did etch the stove, so like the whole stove has a white coating kind of thing all over it, but the stove is working fine. There's no powder or anything left. We looked it up. It's not harmful or anything. So we looked it up and it was perfectly safe. So we just left it. So yeah. So anyway, I forgot, guys, to tell you that gluten-free stuff takes longer to bake than regular. So that's why the muffins are taking a little bit longer. Where do you order the soaps? Sandy wants to know. Goatmilkgifts.com.
I just shared the link a moment ago.
By the way, Ellie has restocked her goat milk cream. Love, love, love this cream. I absolutely love it. She has the 8 ounce and then the 4 ounce. And I don't know who was asking earlier, but this is the oatmeal one right here. I forgot I had it up here. So here's the oatmeal goat milk bar, if you are wondering.
So Karen asked, for the homemade vanilla, once you make it, how long before you can use it?
6 weeks is good. I mean, the longer you leave it in there, the better. But you can start using it 6 weeks. And leave the old vanilla beans in there once or twice and just refill it with more vodka and add like 1 new vanilla bean. And you can usually get 2 or 3 bottles out of the vanilla beans, even the old ones. So you don't have to use so many vanilla beans.
Yes. Let's see what else we have over here.
Is there goat milk in the soap? Yes, Cindy. So most of the soaps. So this one and the jasmine one that I cut, these all have goat milk. The other one that I just showed you had goat milk. I do have a few regular soaps that don't have goat milk in there, and Ellie has those listed as regular soap and not just goat milk soap. So if you want the goat milk. Now, why is goat milk good? It's a great exfoliant. It's a really good exfoliant. And I had one lady who raises goats, and she started making her own soap, and she said, I used to have blackheads really bad, and I did everything, and I couldn't get rid of them, and she said, I started using my goat milk soap because she had goats, so she started making her own. And she said, all of a sudden, I realized my blackheads were gone. And so it's a really mild but very effective exfoliant, and it helps moisturize also.
Libby wants to know, are you guys actually cooking?
I already did cook. It's in the oven right now. So now we're chatting because people like to chat with us. And we're lonely. We're stuck in the house and we have no friends. So we're just stuck here.
Friends, what are those?
We need to have Goalie and Fareed over.
Actually, we do. We should talk them into being on the
They'd
show.
be great show people. Dude.
That would be a crack up.
That would be hilarious.
Yes.
I love it.
Cindy said, "Oh, I missed the birthday song." And Victoria said, "You guys are my favorite YouTubers. Appreciate you all." Thank you, Victoria. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, all the hate mail we got this week, I really appreciate it. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Uh-oh, I don't even want to know.
So I did 2 controversial videos this week.
Oh boy.
One on the upcoming economic crisis and one on how to live on $1,000 a month. And, it just amazes me. It absolutely amazes me that people just cannot see outside of their teensy tiny narrow little box and think that anything is actually possible. We had person after person say, well, you gave us your budget for $1,000 a month, but that was 27 years ago. Okay, it was. But those numbers still apply today. And I know things are more expensive, and I'll give you a little bit more for groceries. But as a general rule, my mom lived on $750 a month for years, up until last year when my dad died. And then she got a raise with Social Security, widow's benefits, but it can still be done today. We had person after person after person attest that they are doing it themselves right now on $1,000 or $1,200 a month. You can do it. Our daughter, even this week, she applied for a job, which she ended up deciding she didn't want to do, but there was a farm that was looking for farm help. And part of the rent was you would exchange farm work for your apartment. These things are out there all over the place. Stop having such a narrow view of life and just automatically saying it can't be done. It absolutely frustrates me to no end when people just won't even try.
Actually, I would say that the number one thing that determines whether you can succeed on things or not is if you have an immediate reaction, that's impossible. That's why you fail.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, actually, I should say that. That is why you fail. Oh, well, that was the closest I could get. Judge me by my size, do you?
I can't quite yada.
But yes.
And then
so basically what Tara's saying is if your issue is like food is more or rent is more or something, you still need to just kind of think in your area, how can I do the absolute least how can I fit everything into the budget that I have?
Well, and the thing is, if you can't afford it in your area, move. I know I say this every single day. But when we were in Colorado in 1994 and all the Californians started their first migration here and the housing prices went through the roof, we moved because we could not afford to live here. So we figured out how to move and we did it. It's possible. It's absolutely possible. But what?
I'm afraid what you're going to do with that. Well, your mom earlier was talking about the knife, and then you said, oh, how did I cut myself? I cut myself, and then people were laughing because they said your mom predicted it.
I don't think I cut it on the knife, though. It's weird.
There was a question here that I was going to see if I could, let's see, it seems like it was about the bananas, or, oh, actually, Jane said, I only see you all on maybe once or twice a month. I'm not getting notification. Am I just not getting notifications?
Yeah.
So she's on Facebook, and I don't know what you have to do to get notifications on Facebook.
I don't know.
Sort of
make sure on YouTube that the bell is clicked and you have all clicked, but I don't know on Facebook.
I know on Facebook that sometimes people said that there's some sort of a notification thing and that it's been turned off and they have to go re-turn it on. I thought you would know, so. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so to test when your muffins are done, this is for all muffins. stick a knife or toothpick in the center, and if it comes out clean, then they're done. Okay, look at that. Now, these are totally done, but they have to cool completely. You have to let them cool completely in the, no, don't burn yourself. In the mold, because, well, let me grab a fork here so I'm sorry here. Because if you don't let them cool completely, let me show you what happens. This, can you see what's happening here?
Let me zoom. The camera's not there yet. Yeah, do you want me to turn it?
All right. Now, this is what happens when you don't let it cool completely. They will fall apart. Okay? See how that fell apart? That's because it's not cool. So let it cool completely. Okay? But since this one just happened to fall apart.
Just happened to fall apart.
No, that's no.
So a lot of people are saying check your Facebook setting to make sure your notifications are turned on. And Jean says you can either click on follow or the 3 dots to the right, and notification settings should come up. So hopefully that's helpful. And yeah, Shayla says on Facebook, the more active you are, the more notifications you get. Yeah, Facebook does like to try to predict what you want to see. So if this may not be your issue, but for sometimes if you don't click on something for a while, then they'll think you're not interested in it.
Like Mike, he's been off Facebook for 3 months, but before then, I would never get his notifications. And usually it's because he would tell me something, so I'd see it on Facebook, so I didn't need to like it or whatever. But I never saw Mike's notifications. Ooh.
Man, that garlic smells really good coming out of the oven when you open it.
Oh my goodness, this is so delicious.
Man, these are really good. The farming pastor's wife, pay the haters no attention. It's funny, I forgot which YouTuber I was telling the other day, but there was another YouTuber who was saying it was discouraging to have a lot of haters, and I said, you know, it's in those moments when internally I just say, not the target audience. Like if people are consistently haters, then they're not the people that we're speaking to. So.
Yeah, but it absolutely amazes me. We were talking about the upcoming economic crisis, and then we also talked about how Mike and I have no retirement. And we got all these people. Well, what do you mean you have no retirement? Well, okay, we're going to explain this in future videos, but we had an income problem. We weren't going to do anything until our income got up. What are you doing?
And looking back, I would have done something different on that.
Yes. And we learned lessons on that. But we just did not have the money to put into an IRA or KO for 401k or whatever. And so we focused on getting everything paid off. People cannot comprehend if you are 100% debt-free when you go into retirement. For most people, that is $2,000 to $3,000 a month. You do not have to come up with to pay your bills. Use your brain. It is not rocket science. These people who say, well, that's just really stupid. Yes, it would have been great if we could have started putting in our Roth IRA or whatever when we were 20, but we couldn't. We are debt free now, and now we have 10 to 12 years where we can come up with $1 million between the next 10 to 12 years, and we can retire on it. And one person said, well, you need to just get out there and just go get a job that has a pension, and maybe you'll have a little bit saved up. How absolutely stupid is that? We have our own business that we could make 10 times that amount a year. Why would I go waste my time at some business like whatever, Lowe's or whatever, or manufacturing or who knows what? I'm just throwing something out there. When we have our own business and we could just use that money. You've got to.
Well, and Tara's not saying anything bad about those businesses, just that if you, like, we already have a business that we can focus on.
So why don't we focus on that?
So it would be better to focus on our business than to go get a job on that. And the thing that I've realized, this isn't any, I'm not saying anything for the people that are in these kinds of jobs, but companies it's not like the old days where a company would hire you, you'd work there 30 years, and then their pension plan would take care of you, and the people that worked there would still remember all the people that used to work there and think how great it is. It's kind of like, oh, you don't work here anymore, you're not important to us anymore. And so that was one thing for us that, again, if you're in a job and they have a pension plan, great. But it's just getting to be less and less reliable.
Well, let me tell you, if the economy crashes, that 401k is worth squat. But if your house is paid off, all you have to pay for is your taxes and your insurance. You don't have to come up with a house payment. And I had several people say, well, I know, but taxes and insurance keep going up and up and up. Okay, so if your house is paid off and you are completely debt-free, and you have $2,000 to $3,000 a month that you're not sustaining debt, you can live off of that.
There is one thing that we noticed, though, as far as the taxes, you can have some impact on taxes by where you are living. We've noticed there are a lot of places, property taxes. We look for low property taxes when we buy a house, because if we stay in the house long enough to retire, which I'm not really sure we ever plan to do, but if you stay in the house long enough to retire, then you can not buy things and not have to worry about sales tax, or you can buy less things and pay a lot less sales tax. But on property tax, you have to pay it regardless. So we tend to look for lower property tax because that's the one that we can't really change. But we've noticed a lot of places where you might have a house in a certain area, and if in 2 miles away, the taxes are half. Or in another state, the taxes, because we've looked at, when we were looking around for a lot of houses over the last few years, there were places where the house looked like a great house, the price looked like a great price. Then we look at the taxes and they're like $10,000 a year. We're thinking, that's almost $1,000 a month that once everything is paid off, you still have to pay on that. And so those kinds of things we look at, because
Read what Al Goshen said. He's right.
it's not smart to invest in a 401k with a small interest bearing while you have a credit card with a much higher interest due. Yes,
Hello?
that's true.
Hello. You're paying 29% on your credit card, and yet you're dumping all this money into a 401k that's getting 3-4%. Seriously? And if your company goes bankrupt, you're not going to have a pension. If the stock market tanks, you're not going to have a pension, but at least you will have a house. And I'm sorry, I am almost 50 years old. I have lived through it. I grew up through it. And I know that the only thing that saved my mom was that her house was paid off before we got sick, and she was able to live on $500 a month with 2 teenagers. And I don't care if that was in the late 80s or 90s. That's the same as living on about $1,000 a month now. You can do it, but you have to prepare yourself ahead of time. Stop buying the new cars. Stop buying the purses, the Starbucks, eating out, and you can do it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done with my rant.
We've also found, of course, now that our house is paid off, we are working on ways to invest the parts that are just sitting around, the money that just sits around because we're not paying on the mortgage. Although we were saving it for buying another house, and at the moment we're not really sure what the situation is on that, so we're looking for ways to invest that. But there are some things, like with us in the business, we get a lot higher rate of return if we invest the money in the business than if we invested in a lot of other things. And so that's one thing that we consider as well. Because I remember when, I don't even know what the rates are on them right now, but I knew people that were buying bonds that were like 5 years or more out, and they were getting less than 1% interest on the bonds. And I was thinking, why would you do that? Because at the time, I decided to sell things on Amazon as a business thing, and I was making 100% return on the investment every like couple of weeks. And I was just thinking, why would you lock your money where you can't get to it to make a 1%? Now, of course, that required me to work, because that was a working thing. It wasn't just a passive thing. But one thing on the investing is, it's for us anyway, I'd rather invest in something that has a higher return and, watch it carefully and make sure that everything's fine. I'm not too sure about, people were talking about having a little trouble with IRAs and market investments right now. And I've noticed that Ellie and I were both investing in stocks, but we both withdrew all of our investments because they were so up and down. We were concerned they were going to drop a lot. And we had made some money experimenting with market stuff over the last year, and we didn't want to lose that. So,
yeah, Sally's right. Her mother-in-law lived on $1,000 a month and bought and paid for her house during that time too. So did my mom.
Well,
it can be done. It's just you don't want to do it. And I'm sorry to be such a judgmental twit.
Well, the one thing
but I've seen it done time and time and time again.
The main thing on living on a small amount is if you have to, you can. But if you're in a position of being able to plan for the future and then you can plan something in order to give yourself a better situation so you can later say, I don't want to do that. But if you're on a certain income and you just don't have any way to get any more money, you can still make it happen. That's the point I think Tara was trying to make. Not that you want to live on a low income, but many people are living on a low income now because they spent all the money they had when they were younger.
I mean, it's different.
It's different if you're disabled or something like that. But for people that there are people that I've known who've just spent money like it was nothing for decades. And then when it came to retire, they said, what are we going to do? There's nothing. And we don't own our house and we're completely mortgaged and all that. And with us, we were trying to be a little bit tactical, like on the house. We'd rather have the house paid off because if the market crashes, you still own the house. Like if everything crashes, you still own the house. But I think I told this story before when I worked, where I was working when the September 11th stuff happened. I had a lot of friends who had a lot of money in 401ks. And when the market completely crashed because of September 11th, their 401ks lost like 75% of the value. And one guy was so upset about it, he cashed in the 25% that was left and bought a car. And I was thinking, well, that's going to make it better. But I think it was just the frustration of seeing that 401k go to nothing. And so for us, we were thinking, well, if we put the money in the house first, then we know the house value or the house, we're still going to have the house regardless of what happens.
Lizette said her neighbor bought a new car and the monthly payment is over $700 a month. That is absolutely absurd. I don't care what your income is. Well, let me rephrase that. If you're making $1 million a year, I guess that's fine.
Well, why would you want a payment then?
Why would you want a payment? Pay cash for it. And my wonderful assistant and sister-in-law Shayla says, why do people think 401ks are the only one to chicken? It's amazing. Oh wait, here, come tell the people. Come tell the people. Amazing chicken. You gotta say it out loud.
The chicken is very amazing.
It's amazing, huh? Thank you. Yeah, 401ks aren't the only way to go.
And another thing about that, like the $1,000 a month thing that people don't recognize is it's one thing if you're 80 years old and disabled and you're on $1,000 a month. But Tara and I were young, and honestly, I should have gotten a better job. But I had other things in my mind that I was letting them hold me back when I shouldn't have. But a lot of people, not a lot, some people say, well, how can you pay off your debt and save and everything when you're making $1,000 a month? You may have difficulty doing that, but if you're young enough to do stuff, then make more money. I mean, it sounds hard and a lot of people are afraid of it. And especially, I didn't realize how much things that my parents built into me about money. I had a bunch of ideas that were wrong. A bunch of ideas that this is where I am and there's nothing I can do. Well, that's not constructive. And if it's you, it would be better to say, how can I improve my situation from where I am and figure that out? Because like if you're making $1,000 a month, but you're young and reasonably healthy, even if you're disabled, and there are a lot of times things that you can do still. In fact, she's not disabled, but
Well, and Michelle's.
Lizette,
Oh, go ahead.
I don't think Lizette is disabled, but she did say, took your advice, and I'm doing pie baking, and we now have extra money to throw at the mortgage. I bake 12 to 14 pies a week.
Good job.
That's awesome. But
wow.
the thing is, there are a lot of things that, depending on what kind of disability you have, if you are disabled, you can still do some things to improve your situation. And if you're disabled and living on disability, small things would make a big difference to your income. Because if you're making like $1,000 a month on your Social Security, or I'm not very familiar with how that works, but if you are making something like that and you make a few $100 extra doing something, that's a significant increase to the income that you have.
Rachel asked about the chicken is in volume 2,
And
Dining
that's
on a
really
Dime.
good.
And Michelle says, I wish I had a house, but I do like this apartment, but I'd like the security of a house. Actually, here's the thing on that. Don't fret if you don't have a house. The amount of money that you spend on rent is probably close to the same amount that you would spend on maintenance on a house. So don't freak out because you are having to pay rent. It's okay. Just do the best that you can. And honestly, it's not always necessarily better to buy a house. It may be better for your situation to actually rent, because like some people, they need someone to help take care of the heater and the water and all of that kind of thing when it goes wrong. And so sometimes renting is a better scenario for you.
Well, and some places it's actually less expensive to rent when you take into consideration all the things that you have to pay. In other places, it's less expensive to buy if you're able to buy. And if I were in a situation where it was less expensive to buy, but we were not quite able to reach it, I think we would really pull in our belts and do everything possible to actually reach that. Because like here in Colorado, rents are extremely expensive. And well, depending on what you're doing, a lot of times it's been less expensive to buy than to rent. Although lately, I don't know, house prices are pretty high here in Colorado.
Okay, so please tell people not to remortgage their homes, pay them off. We knew people that did that for their kids' college and weddings, and then they retired. They had a house payment. Yes, you do not need to be paying for your children's college or weddings. Now, I'll give you $3,000 to $5,000 if you want to help your kid out with a wedding. But if you are spending $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on a wedding and you don't have your house paid off, you should not be spending that money on the wedding. You give them $2,000, $3,000 and say, here's our portion, and then you can come up with the rest. Absolutely ridiculous. Same thing for college. If you are not 100% debt-free, including your house, you should not be paying your children's college, period. Sorry.
If they learn to do it, they will have a great respect for money, and they will be very self-sufficient once they pull that off. Yeah. And actually, we've had friends who we had some friends where the father would spend $10,000 a year to take 6 people to Disney World for a week every year. And he was constantly spending things for all the family and borrowing to do that. But then when he got older, he was unable to retire. Yeah. And then I have some friends who are, one particular guy I'm thinking of is 75, and he's made a lot of money in his life, but he wants to retire, but he says he's not quite sure if it's a good idea because at 75, they still have a $1,200 a month mortgage. And the thing is, it's not that they were poor and they couldn't make the payments and that's why they're still on the mortgage. It's because they were doing what she was saying not to do, which is they were living at the very edge of their means and still borrowing more. And the thing is, this is kind of what I think about this, because when I was younger, I got into credit card debt right away when I was in college, because that's what I learned to do there. And I realized after a few years when I got older and I was paying for the debt for things that I no longer owned, that I borrowed when I was younger, I realized I stole from myself. And it was really irritating and frustrating. And now when you're thinking about the future, it's the same thing. Don't borrow now and waste everything you have now, because that's stealing from the you that's coming, when you're less likely to be able to deal with it as much. Because when I was spending all the money in college that I didn't have and thinking I deserved something, I wasn't anticipating that when I was going to be paying it off, I would be then married and we would have a family, and we really would have even more difficulty financially because of that. When I was in college, I could have easily weathered it and just not spent that money.
Preserving Daily says, yes, everybody, please listen to Mike and Tara. I wish I'd done this stuff when I was much younger. Yeah, and here's the thing. Okay, so you screwed up and you didn't do it when you were younger. Just start now where you're at. Just start now. And if you're 62 and you want to wave to all your coworkers?
Hello.
If you're
Rocio checked in.
Hello, Rocio. See you tomorrow.
And if you are at that point, you may not be able to retire. I'm sorry. I know you want to retire and go do fun things, but you just may not be able to. And so that's why we're trying to preach to people our age and younger, get it together now so that when you get there, you can. Everybody said hi, BJ.
Hello.
Kayla, I wasn't taught how to handle money, so it's one of my life missions to make sure my kids know how to handle money.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, because it was the same with me. My family was very secretive about the money, mostly because I don't think they had any idea what they were doing with their money. And by being secretive, that's really been a problem. We've been really transparent with the kids about our situation pretty much all the time. And we drives Ellie crazy, but we've turned when I do it, but we've turned a lot of things into learning lessons about, financial things. When there's a struggle with something with the money, we've made that connection right then. And the idea is in hopes that they will be able to do that themselves. So,
Hey, BJ, are you still here?
Yeah.
Auntie Shayla wants to see you. She blinked. You need to see him, Auntie Shayla. He looks like Jesus. Him and Dave both look like Jesus now.
I look like Shaggy Jesus.
No, you both look like Jesus. Say hi, Auntie Shayla.
Hello, Aunt.
Oh, I love him. Thanks. I got a hug.
Wow.
Is it okay if I scoop some ice into my cup real quick?
Yes. Go ahead.
Patricia,
Scoop it so it's fast.
my parents also wanted to dress like my friends. My friends get a job, and I did. Oh, yeah. So they told you to get a job if you wanted to dress like your friends? Because with the kids, yeah, you can. I said, yeah, you can. And then I get surprised. We've let them know this is how much. Well, Tara's mostly dealt with the clothes, but this is the budget we're spending on your clothes, and if you want more, you have to buy it. And for the most part, they don't want more.
I don't even care about clothes at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you see my shirts. I wear until there's literally nothing left.
Yeah. Although BJ's the car person, so that's a little divergent from us. But hey, if you figure out what's important to you, and spend a lot less than everywhere that's not.
One of my friends buys a new pair of shoes every week.
Yeah.
Not cheap ones either.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Barbara, they're never too old to hug. So the trick on that is they think they're too old to hug, so Tara
have to sneak it in.
She has to sneak it in.
Dave and BJ won't let me give them hugs anymore.
Yeah, hugs are overrated.
Hugs are not overrated. Your mother's hugs are valuable.
Actually, it's funny because Beth says having two parents who grew up in the Depression, they taught us how to be frugal. We've been talking about that lately because even though we were frugal and the kids witnessed it, in some ways, particularly the older ones, are less so now. Mm-hmm. And I think it's partly because they're kind of coming over to our house and some of the things that are being not maybe taken care of as much, it's because we're paying for them.
Yeah.
So we're rethinking that a little bit, I think. But actually,
Kimberly says,
we have where is that press? We have this little coffee press, and BJ makes coffee in it, but doesn't drink it all. And so I actually keep a jar
Bye.
of the coffee I pour in throughout the day because I don't make myself an extra cup of it later. And I think Tara thought that was kind of cool that I was doing it that way. But my thinking is, if we're going to make a pot or a cup or a thing of coffee, then why dump a third of it out when
Well, it's like the
coffee's,
baking grease.
even though it's not that expensive, it's a habit that's not hard to maintain and you save a lot of money. So just doing that in a lot of things. So sorry, we're going to read?
Kimberly says, kids graduate from high school these days not knowing how to have a budget, not even knowing how to balance a checkbook. There are good lessons for kids at home. I like the episode of Bill Cosby where his son wanted to move out. He made a store, so his son had to buy in budget to get all his furniture back. That's good. I didn't see that. I don't remember that
I don't
one.
remember that one either. Wait, what's Shayla saying about the Colorado hippies? Talking about us?
Talking about the boys.
Oh, the boys, yeah.
And their hair.
Oh, yeah, their hair. Their favorite auntie, yes.
Is Auntie Shayla your favorite auntie?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Mike-
You got a big resounding yes, Auntie Shayla.
Well, she's the only aunt I know, really.
Well, true.
All our other aunts basically disowned us.
Well, true.
Mike, you do the same with coffee as my brother. Yeah. I guess I don't know. There are things that I think are kind of common sense. Like when I worked at this one place and I had a plastic cup like this, and we would go to a convenience store sometimes because I gave myself permission to basically get an iced tea anytime I wanted there because they were cheap. And I would always come with the cup and they would give me a cheaper price to fill up my own cup. And I felt like I was throwing away a lot less stuff. But my coworkers would always laugh about it and say, oh, here's Mike with his plastic cup again. But then they would get all these foam cups and then they would go back and we would be talking and they would talk about how they want to save the environment and stuff. And I was thinking, well, I wasn't thinking about saving the environment, but I'm reusing my plastic cup and you're throwing away your foam cup. I just thought it was funny because to me, I guess having grandparents who were in the Depression, some of those things rubbed off on us without me thinking about it that much. And it's kind of like we have an air fryer and the kids like to throw things like French fries in there and we put a piece of foil in there so they don't fall through the holes. And the kids occasionally they'll say, here's a piece of foil here, I'm going to throw this away. But I was thinking, well, if you only put French fries on it, it's going to cook at 400 degrees. It's not like it's disgusting something on there. So let it go a few times.
Yeah.
But it's those little things that kind of can really help your budget if you don't waste things.
Gay says, my dad always told us people who are poor use credit cards and charge and the rich pay cash. Always stuck in my head and never got into the credit card debt because it scared me. I didn't want to be poor. Yep. Yep, very true. Very true. Everybody does the coffee. See, you're not the only one who does the coffee. There you go.
Yeah.
Shannon. Oh, hey, Shannon. So I have a friend who buys her kids' toys all the time and they go shopping because her child wants one. She asked my opinion. I told her I didn't feel that right. And then she told me I was wrong. Let me tell you, my kids never just bought them a toy at the store. All their toys came from garage sales or thrift stores, first of all.
And now we're just on the computer.
Secondly, they only got toys on their birthday and Christmas or, Easter basket, that kind of thing. Christmas, Easter, and their birthday. We never just went out and bought toys. Then if they wanted something other than those times, they used their money to buy it from a garage sale or thrift store. And they did.
Yep.
So but here's the thing. Your friend, next time you talk to her, tell her, okay, you spend $20 on that toy every single time you go to the store. Let's say you go 2 times a week. That's $40 a week. That's $80 every 2 weeks. That's $160 a month. She earns $20 an hour. How many hours is she having to work for that? Is it worth working an entire day just paying for your kids' toys? Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, your kid probably won't be
Ridiculous.
thankful either.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Actually, I think our thinking was I don't know. It seems like it seems like if they have to have one every time, it's the expectation that we don't like, because the expectation is what is that? I forget what you call it now.
Self-serving.
Yeah, it's it's
It's all
basically
about me.
It's all about me. It's the word that people apply to the culture now. Anyway, I don't know why my brain
Cancel
is...
culture?
No.
Oh.
No, the culture of I should have it because I want it all the time, and I'm going
Oh.
to demand it. And when you go to France, they hate you because of it.
Spoiled Americans.
Basically, well, what I'm saying is that if kids get the expectation that they're always going to get something everywhere they go,
Entitled.
that's the word I was looking
Thank you,
for.
Shayla.
Well, it's funny because we had I'm not. There's sometimes we bring the kids' friends when we go hiking, and one of them was really up. He was 11. He was really a little bit upset because I said, "Hey, we're going to swing by McDonald's and get everybody a couple things, and you can have 2 items off the value menu." And he said, "Well, my parents always get me the super whatever extra value menu item." And I was thinking, okay, well, but today we're getting this. And he said, well, but they always get me that. I was thinking, well, that's fine when you're with them. But today, if you want something from McDonald's, this is what I'm buying. And it was funny because I think that the expectation that you absolutely have to have it because you want it and that's the way it is, that's kind of a problem with kids if the kids are trained that way. So a lot of times we didn't get them stuff, not just because we didn't have the money or because whatever. A lot of times it was because we want them to be in the habit of recognizing something like a slushie after school. It's a special thing. It's not an all the time thing. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wednesday every week.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know why my brain skipped a beat on that.
Your sister-in-law
Entitlement.
has your back covered.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, there were other things too with kids. I don't know. They just never thought they never thought they were going to get anything. So when they got something small, they really appreciated it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when Ellie and I went to Europe, the understanding was that she would pay. And that's because when I was a teenager and I paid for myself to go, all the other kids that went and their parents paid, they just got drunk and puked in the hotel room the whole time while I was out on the Eiffel Tower. And and I just thought, man, I don't want our kids to grow up having that sense that somebody else paid for it. So it's not important to me. Although it ends up, I tried to pay some for Ellie just as a gift, but let her pay the rest of it. But she really didn't want me to at all. She wanted to do it. So I thought was kind of cool. So
Cindy says a box and a hill made for fun afternoon.
yeah, definitely.
I know. All right, guys. Happy Easter.
Yes,
Please visit
happy
us at
Easter.
livingonadime.com. 25% off all of our cookbooks. Ellie will get the soaps up tomorrow. I think she'll probably get them listed tomorrow. Happy Easter. If you guys need, go a Bible. We give them for free if you can't afford them at livingonadime.com. Click on the shop and click on the Bible. It is Easter. And Jesus is the reason for the season.
Yes. Amen to that.
Check
And
out.
Easter's actually more important than Christmas.
It really is, actually. Check out Mike's Christian ABCs YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about being a Christian, he's starting his YouTube channel.
Woo.
And that is going very well. I also have my 5-ingredient channel that I have started. Please, guys, will you both channels, will you share and give us a thumbs up and share those videos so that we can help build them up, please?
Debbie says, I wish I could buy your soaps, but I'm over in Scotland. I was thinking, I think we'll just have to make a trip to Scotland.
Take some to Debbie.
We love Scotland,
I did love Scotland. Scotland was very nice.
especially Inverary.
And it was raining and it was so beautiful. Oh, I love the rain.
Yep.
We don't get a lot of rain here in Colorado. We have 360 days of sunshine in Colorado. No, 300 days of sunshine in Colorado. We only have 60 days that aren't sunny. And half of those, or 3/4 of those, don't bring moisture with them. It's just overcast. So we really don't get much rain or snow here usually. So anyway, that's why I love Scotland. Was it was raining like half the time, almost 3/4 of the time we were there. It was so nice. I loved it. So anyway,
It was awesome.
all right, guys. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
We will see you guys next week. Have a great Easter.
Bye.
Oh, and thanks for the Bible money, Diane.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Diane.
Before we end, yeah.
Yay! And thank you guys for helping donate with the Bibles. We have been sending them to Ghana, the Philippines, Scotland, England, Canada, Germany.
It might be helpful for you guys to pray on the one to Ghana because I'm having a great difficulty getting it into the country. Not because they don't want it, but there are a lot of logistical problems in getting it there. And I know the lady is super excited to be getting it, but like, how are we going to get it in the country?
And India, we have people that we are talking to in India, guys. So we could use your prayers actually in getting the Bibles to people, and that we will have the right words to show these people that they just need Jesus, and there's nothing you can do except just give your life to him. Because a lot of people think that there's works that you have to do, and that's the way you get to heaven. It's not. Only way to heaven is to admit you're a sinner, believe that Jesus died for your sins and rose again, and confess that Jesus is Lord. And that's all you have to do to go to heaven. Nobody is perfect enough to go to heaven. That's why God sent Jesus as the sacrifice.
And that's why it's a celebration on Easter.
Yes. So Romans, 10:13, all who call on the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Yep.
Happy Easter, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Ending.